When you think of a rear-wheel drive, air-cooled 70s car, what's in your mind? A Porsche? A Volkswagen Beetle? Or what else? Well, this is a Fiat 126. 1972, the Fiat 500 been replaced by the Fiat 126. So the underpinning of the Fiat 126 is exactly the same as the Fiat 500, especially the early models. This has a 650cc engine, but early models came out with the 600 engine. When we get to 1973, the Polish FSM start making this Fiat 126P. That was the big difference. That's how they separated the Fiat and the Polski Fiat. This car name is Sheriff. That's a nickname for this car. What's your car's nickname? Drop it down in a comment, please. This car is super light, it's only 600 kilo. That's why it's so economical. The Polish call this the mush, which means small car. Back in the day you didn't need 18-inch wheels. This has only 12-inch, 135/80 by 12-inch. Look at the size of this wheel, it's tiny. That's why being so economical. Back in the day, it was a joke about this car. When the policemen stop you, especially in the Eastern Bloc, they ask you to open up the engine bay. So, what you do? You go and you open up the engine bay. But there is no engine. Who stole the engine? A policeman back in the day told my dad, get it right and put the engine back in the front. So, a bigger boot in this car. Well, let me show you. Let me explain how much stuff you can take in this boot. So, a screen wash, very important. The battery is in the front, and you also got a little protection in the front because that's your spare wheel in there. If you're a skateboarder, you can take a skateboard in there, just enough room in there. And also, you can take a bottle of mineral water in there, just in case you're hot. So that is your boot, closed and filled up. So this suspension, it's a little bit different than other cars. The leaf spring goes across the front beam, so the leaf spring is hanging down a bit. So what the tuners do with this car, they replace it with a double wishbone setup. In Poland, Hungary and other countries, they tune this car. Sometimes they make it to a space frame chassis as well. So when you're driving this car, it's a little bit finicky. You feel it is dancing on the road as well. When you look at the back wheel, it's hanging in sideways. It's not flat, it doesn't run with the road. So when you're pushing the suspension down, it's straightened up. So you can see how this wheel moving. It's got a lot of flex in it. It's not like any other car. It's even by hand. It's moving about 5-6 centimeters. So when all the Polish used to go to Turkey to buy loads of cheap stuff and take it back, just imagine that, they're driving, I don't know, 1600 kilometers, about 1000 miles with this car. So they went in there, one person, filled it up, put the roof rack on it, filled it up, and they came back with about 400 or 500 kilo weight on it. And this car made it. They never had an issue with it. Can you imagine that, when everybody used to these modern SUVs and all the space and they never use it? This small car carried more stuff than modern SUVs. This huge engine been put in the back of the car. What you can see in here is 24 horsepower. It's crazy. 0 to 60, very long time. But we're gonna try this one out if we can make it. Legally, of course, on the road. So this two-cylinder beast, it's simple. Normally they have generators on it. This one has a big upgrade of an alternator, so you do have charge, because when they introduced this car, they had a generator on it and they put a 35 amp battery on there, but the generator was so underpowered, they actually draining the battery. So they have to put bigger battery in there, which is in the front, as you can see on the boot. It's 45 amp they put in there. So it's that simple. Mechanical fuel pump on there. Just a single carburetor on it, and the coil has got 2 leads on it, so it's not double coil, it's just a single coil. In this one, it's a performance coil in there, as I've been told. I can't prove it, but I've been told this one is a more advanced ignition on it, so a little bit more power, so maybe 25 horsepower in there. But if you work it out, if every year they're losing 1 horsepower, we're down on power really bad this time. Well, the Polski is not so big in the back. Shall we try it out? How easy to get in. So you fold the seat front. I'm 6 foot. Oh, so it's so easy to get in. So if you try to lean the seat back, it's not possible. It's too small. Look at this. And you can adjust the seat to the front, but there is 0 room. So if as a normal adult sitting on the front and your normal adult try to sit in the back, just look at the size. I'm taking up more than half the back seat. So not so big. But back in the day, everybody used to be a little bit slimmer, I think. That's why they fit in there. So the dashboard of this car is so simple. This is the early model. So simple. Later models had a big plastic dashboard. This one is just a single clock. The only thing you have in there is fuel gauge and a battery light. That's all. Nothing else. Also, let me show you the extras. Heater on. Heater off. That's all the extras. Here is some cool looking t-shirt design. You can buy it on amazon.com, amazon.co.uk, and every purchase you make, you're helping my channel growing. I leave the link in description. So, let's go for a drive. Gearbox is a little bit stiff, or the mechanism right now. Let's see. I've been told just been some work been done on a car recently. It's a common issue on a gearbox mechanism. There is a ball. It cracks. So there is a line, the gearbox. When you move it to gears, it cracks, so the whole mechanism just go loose. You probably find this issue previously. So this just been done in there. So had they replaced it, it's previously been done by plastic, but the plastic now it's been replaced to copper. So they machined out copper, and so it's making it stiffer, so it cannot crack. So this is like an upgrade they done to this car. But you can hear on 4th gear, there is a little bit of a winding noise going through. It's just go like, ooh. I'm not sure if you can hear it through the microphone. Sorry, the windows is a little bit damp because it's been autumn and it's still 28 degrees abroad. The steering wheel is supposed to be on the other way around, but the guy made it so you can hold it, you know, 10 and 2 easier. Suspension wise, well, it's cute, it's agile. We're doing 50 kilometers an hour, it's 30 miles an hour. I'm not saying it's super safe to drive it. 4-speed gearbox in this one, all synchro mesh, far as I know. So speed-wise, it's not a super quick car, but it's extremely cute. Seat-wise, if you're very, very tall, it's I don't know. I don't know if it's this car or any other car like this. This is the one I drove. I don't remember because when I was a kid, we used to have one of these. I think it was a plastic bumper, orange one. Maybe it was a chrome bumper. My mom used to take me to the kindergarten with one of these. It's a cute following to this car because Fiat 500 is so expensive, so people buy Fiat 126s, especially Polish Fiat 126s, because it's cheaper. It's still about 5 grand to get the decent one in the UK. And even now in Europe, price is just increasing and increasing and increasing because it's a cult following to it. Most people who grow up in these cars, they are adult now, so they want to buy it as a hobby. You know, just a third or fourth car. Power is incredible. That's third gear, full throttle. It's quite nice. I mean, it's a city car, but back then, people traveled everywhere with this one because it was cheaper than, you know, it was cheap to buy this car. I think the first price they introduced it back in Poland, the actual original Polish zloty was 69,000 zloty. No clue what is it in today's money, but probably around less than £1,000. Yeah, the torque-wise is not huge amount of torque in there. So when you got little bumps on the road, you need to build up some speed. You definitely need to build up some speed. But for city driving, I mean, it's fantastic. It's tiny. It's just a tad over 3 meters in length. That's it. And because it's only 600 kilos, it's obviously no power steering in this one. But to turn this car, here we go, there is a sharp bend coming up. There's a sharp bend coming up. You don't need, because there's such a thin wheels on it, you don't need to wrestle with the steering wheel. And for this city driving, you know, driving through like this, it's comfy. You got the armrest. The armrest is the second seat because it's so tiny. For legroom, it's not great. It's definitely not great because where is the clutch pedal? Right next to it is the wheel running because you saw up front. But if you're super tall, if you watch Police Academy, you can take this seat out and you sit in the back seat. That is an option, but it's cute. I drove this car previously, and drive it on a normal road. You can do 50-60 miles an hour with it. It's comfortable at 50 miles an hour. It can go anywhere 50 miles an hour. When you take it over the limit, you know, you can feel this car is a little bit bumpy, hopping up and down in the road. Especially the road quality we're talking about, because of that leaf spring on the front as well. It's a different experience to drive, let's put it this way. Okay, we're gonna do a standing start. So 20, 30, 40, 50 kilometers an hour. 60, 70, 80. You work it out how many seconds took to get us to 80 kilometers an hour. 80 kilometers an hour is 50 miles an hour. It's rapid, it's crazy. Listen, one of these cars is not about speed, it's the actual cool factor owning one of these cars. And to drive it around, especially in this pistachio green as well, I think is awesome. You know, when I sit in the back seat and I couldn't fit in there, I just imagined when I was a kid, I used to hang in the back of this car. I mean, it's fantastic. It's really cool. But a day like this, driving a car like that, you know, it brings back some memories, and you know, you can put a price on memories, isn't it, when you grow up? I can't. I bet you can't. That's why all of us buying old classic cars and find some cars you got related to, and this is all about, you know. It doesn't need to be comfy or useful. We always chasing childhood dreams. You know, you had the best memory when you was a child. You're chasing that because you want to relive your youth, especially when you get older. I'm getting older, all of us get older. Even if you're a youngster, you're still going to get older, and you're going to look for whatever car today is, like a Fiesta ST or whatever you're going to drive, you know, when you get older and you can't afford it right now. So yeah, cool drive, definitely a lovely experience again to drive this car, or drive one of these cars. So yeah, fantastic, let's park up. If you like to become a sponsor of this channel, I'll leave the link in description. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, please smash that subscribe button, please hit that like button, and see you next time. Bye!